You're scrolling through your favorite social media platform, and you come across a post with a catchy headline, "The Dark Side of Wealth, Are the Rich Truly Evil?" Intrigued, you click on it, only to find a video that demonizes the wealthy, painting them as heartless, greedy individuals who will stop at nothing to amass their fortunes. Sound familiar? For decades, our society has been captivated by stories that depicted wealth as synonymous with evil. Notice how it's everywhere, in movies, TV shows, news programs, and even some online influencers portraying being rich as inherently evil. But have you ever stopped to think about the unintended consequences of such messaging, especially for those who are struggling to make ends meet? Sounds strange, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today. It's an intriguing phenomenon that many experts refer to as the poverty programming effect. We are bombarded with movies, news programs, and online content that paint a one-sided picture of success. We are made to believe that all those who have achieved financial abundance did so through exploitation and greed. I am not saying that the world doesn't have immoral and corrupt rich people. What I am saying is that the small percentage of corrupt rich individuals is what is mostly shown, which then overlooks the other side of honest wealthy people. But when you start to open up your mind and start questioning the kind of information you are consuming, you realize the truth behind these stories in movies and media and get to discover that life is never that black and white. The portrayal of wealth as evil has its part to play in keeping people in society poor, broke, and overdependence on the government and handouts in order to have control of their minds and how they think. This has had serious, significant psychological consequences for many of us, as it has been planted in us so early since young and all the way through our school life. Before we begin, let's look at the spiritual side of wealth mentality. When we talk about the spiritual side of wealth, we're referring to the deeper, intangible aspects that go beyond monetary value. It involves our beliefs, attitudes, and relationship with abundance. Wealth is like a flowing river, constantly moving and evolving. It's not just about accumulating money or possessions. It's about aligning our energy with the abundant flow of the universe. When we tap into this flow, we open ourselves up to receiving blessings in all areas of life, including finances. When we talk about wealth, we often focus on the material aspects of money, possessions, and financial abundance. But there's another dimension to wealth that goes beyond the material realm. It's about aligning our mindset, intentions, and actions with the spiritual principles that govern abundance. Why? Because money, success, riches, and wealth is all spiritual. Everything in this world was first envisioned in the mind before it was physical. Something like money gets its power from us, as we give it power on its value and strength. A $100 bill is more valuable than a 5 cent or 10 cents when $100 is made out of less valuable material compared to 5 and 10-cent coins. These portrayals have wired our subconscious mind since young to associate wealth with negative qualities. But is there more to this than meets the eye? We are going to touch on the two key players that for the longest time contributed to the cycle of poverty programming. These are the media and the school system. We'll start with the media. First off, let's understand what this poverty programming is. Poverty programming refers to the media and content that perpetuate negative narratives surrounding wealth and success. This programming often demonizes the wealthy, portraying them as morally bankrupt individuals who exploit others to amass their fortunes. It's when being rich is presented as an immoral act, leaving us with the impression that anyone who has wealth must have obtained it through unethical means. Can you imagine the impact this kind of messaging might have on our perceptions of poverty and wealth? While it is important to address issues of wealth inequality and social responsibility, the problem arises when this programming extends beyond criticism of systemic flaws and ventures into a blanket condemnation of wealth itself. Imagine growing up constantly watching and hearing that wealth is immoral and that those who seek it are destined to be corrupt. This is where things get really interesting. The consequences of this programming are twofold. Firstly, it perpetuates a negative narrative surrounding financial success, discouraging individuals from pursuing wealth or taking advantage of opportunities that could help them improve their socioeconomic status. Secondly, this programming reinforces the notion of a fixed social hierarchy, where the rich are destined to be evil and the poor are destined to be virtuous. It overlooks the complex structural factors that contribute to poverty and distracts from the urgent need for systemic change. The constant exposure to these negative messages about wealth has a deep psychological impact on us, especially if we find ourselves in a poverty and broke state. It can lead us to internalize beliefs that success and financial stability are inherently evil or morally wrong. This leads to feelings of resentment, hopelessness, and self-sabotage, preventing us from pursuing opportunities for personal and financial growth. A few years back, I had this victim mentality belief that trapped me in the clutches of poverty and really broke to the extreme of homelessness, blaming external forces for my misfortunes. But one day, I met a wise mentor through my high school friend who I was meeting to request a loan. This mentor was a really successful businessman that actually owned a successful coffee shop that my friend and I were meeting at. I am really grateful to him up to this day as he gave me a different perspective on my then current situation. He said to me, "You are not a victim of your circumstances, you are the author of your own destiny." This powerful realization sparked a fire within me, propelling me to break free from the victim mentality and take charge of my life. It stands to show that the programming doesn't just stop at impacting our beliefs about wealth, it also reinforces a victim mentality. If we're constantly being told that our circumstances are entirely predetermined by external forces and that we have no control over our own lives, how likely are we to take charge of our own destiny? By villainizing wealth, so many individuals are discouraged from seeking avenues of empowerment and taking proactive steps towards economic mobility, and instead, the opportunities that are right in front of us are snatched right before our eyes. I am glad that I stumbled upon a video on YouTube back in 2020 that opened my mind and eyes to the basics of personal finance on financial statements and how important lack of this knowledge has made even the most educated graduate poor, broke, and living paycheck to paycheck life with large amounts of student loans. There has been a huge gap in financial education and an entrepreneurial mindset in our society, that recently some great successful people have come out to tell us the secrets to wealth are criticized and demonized for spilling the truth. The fact that simple financial knowledge hasn't been shown to us through the media, a space where we expect to be informed on important issues on how to manage and multiply our income, is something so taunting. Engaging with financial matters and pursuing wealth often require financial literacy and an entrepreneurial mindset. The way we are programmed to think that finances are hard to understand and manage has really discouraged people from acquiring financial skills by perpetuating the notion that anything related to finances inherently shouldn't be talked about. It's as if they're saying, "Don't even bother trying to understand money or build a better future for yourself because it's all tainted and complicated." Can you see how this perpetuates a cycle of financial dependency and limits our opportunities for economic self-sufficiency? Let's not forget how this programming often overlooks the positive contributions made by wealthy individuals. We rarely hear about philanthropy, job creation, and investment in social causes that many successful people engage in. Instead, a one-sided picture of wealth is painted and solely derived from exploitation and greed. This fails to acknowledge the potential for wealth to be a force for positive change. Ignoring these aspects further reinforces negative perceptions and prevents impoverished individuals from recognizing the potential for collaboration and support from successful individuals and institutions. Now, let's pause for a moment and shift our perspective and talk about how we can counter these unending programming cycle. It's essential to remember that media is not solely responsible for perpetuating poverty or determining our life choices. Individuals have agency and the capacity to critically analyze the messages they consume. However, media does play a role in shaping our beliefs and perceptions, so it's vital to be mindful of its influence. The portrayal of wealth in media can inadvertently contribute to the perpetuation of poverty by shaping public perceptions, reinforcing biases, and diverting attention from the systemic factors that keep individuals in poverty. It's crucial for media producers to present a balanced and nuanced portrayal of wealth, highlighting both the positive and negative aspects, and not oversimplifying the complex relationship between wealth, morality, and societal structures. Now let's get into the school system. The school system, as the primary source of education and socialization, plays a crucial role in shaping our perceptions of poverty and success and preparing us for the real world. Poverty programming, within the education system, refers to the perpetuation of limited opportunities and inadequate preparation for low-income students. It involves systemic factors that unintentionally hinder their ability to break free from the cycle of poverty and succeed in adult life. While the education system aims to provide equal opportunities for all students, poverty programming inadvertently perpetuates disparities by failing to address the unique needs and challenges faced by low-income students. I remember when I was in high school, how I really had a negative view of the topic of money and finances found in the maths book. I really tried to understand the topic, but I recall the maths teacher telling me that it's not important to understand it. The important thing is to memorize the calculations in order to pass his subject. That's when my negative relationships with finance emerged, and it even made me not really bother to choose a course with finance in it when I went to college. The traditional curriculum often focuses heavily on academic subjects like math, science, and literature, which are undoubtedly important. But hey, what about practical skills that are necessary for everyday life? Skills like financial literacy, problem solving, critical thinking, communication, and even basic personal finance are often overlooked or underemphasized. As a result, many students graduate without the necessary skills to navigate the complexities of the real world. Without adequate education on personal finance, budgeting, and investment strategies, students may lack the tools to make informed financial decisions. This knowledge gap perpetuates a lack of financial literacy and contributes to the cycle of poverty. When it comes to career guidance, many of us felt lost or feel lost in a sea of options. The school system's approach to career guidance often follows a narrow, predetermined path that emphasizes traditional professions and higher education. While school aims to educate us, often falls short in providing comprehensive career guidance and often presents us with a limited set of traditional career paths, which can leave us feeling confined and uncertain about our true passions and talents. This narrow focus leads to a sense of pressure and anxiety, as we're forced to make career decisions without adequate exploration or understanding of all the possibilities out there. Many of us went through our education without meaningful opportunities to engage with professionals from various industries or gain practical insights into different career paths. As a result, we later on found ourselves pursuing careers based solely on assumptions or external expectations, rather than aligning our choices with our genuine interests and aspirations. This approach limited us and even limit the current students' exploration of alternative pathways, such as vocational training, entrepreneurship, or apprenticeships, which provide viable opportunities for economic mobility. By solely promoting the college route as the ultimate path to success, the school system has marginalized students who excel in non-academic fields or have entrepreneurial aspirations. The lack of exposure has led to feelings of dissatisfaction and regret later in most of our life when we realize we've embarked on a path that doesn't resonate with our true passions. Standardized tests have become the be-all and end-all of measuring student success and school performance. Now, don't get me wrong, assessments are important, but when the entire curriculum becomes centered around these tests, it can hinder creativity, critical thinking, and a genuine love for learning. Students are often pressured to memorize facts and regurgitate information rather than develop a deep understanding of the subjects. This narrow focus on standardized testing can limit students' growth and diminish the joy of learning. By solely valuing high grades and test scores, the school system neglects to nurture essential qualities that are essential in real life after school. This overemphasis on traditional measures of success can limit students' ability to explore unconventional paths and may inadvertently perpetuate the cycle of poverty by discouraging risk-taking and entrepreneurial endeavors. It's essential to be aware of the messages we consume through media and understand how they shape our perceptions. It's also important to encourage our younger generation to cultivate the habit of self-education and open their mind to other important skills that are essential and critical for them to navigate real-life situations after school. By critically analyzing the portrayals of wealth and poverty, we can work towards fostering a more balanced, empowering society. Remember, always question the narratives you encounter and strive to create a world where everyone has equal opportunities to thrive. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and comment your thoughts. Kindly subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking discussions like this, personal finance, investing, and videos on side hustles and business ideas. Together, let's challenge the status quo and create a positive mentality about money and finance. Thank you for watching.